Hello and welcome everyone to the very first episode of SEO Surgery in India Part 2. Well, before we start this wonderful series, I would like to thank you all for the wonderful response you showed in the last series, which convinced Semrush to start this again. And now I would like to thank Semrush for this wonderful opportunity again to host this great series with amazing experts from all over the world. Well, today we have three wonderful experts, one from London, another one from India, and the last one, last but not least, from Bulgaria and London. So this guy is like, traveling all the time here and there. So I'll give their names and we'll let them introduce themselves. So we have Milosz with us, who is based in London. And Milosz, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Milosz. I'm a SEO geek as well. I'm running Chili Fruit Web Consulting, a very small micro agency, and I have been involved in early stage startups before that. So before I acquired the Chili Fruit Web Consulting, so I used to work in Plus Guidance, is a tech startup. And then I was helping Sigma Digital Marketing Agency based in Oxfordshire to grow as well. And after that, absolutely right now, I'm only into like SEO and consultancy projects. So my area of focus is like search, conversion, sometimes user experience, but also technical developments as well.
Thank you so much, Milosz. And you said sometimes user experience, but user experience is now like very much hand in hand with SEO. What do you think about it?
I've read the two articles already about the UX and search, and I think there's a big misconception. And then I've tried to explain this, but people keep mixing this UX and SEO, but you have to do both. That's for sure. And then UX is definitely part of SEO. And we have to, remember that the UX is for the people. So that's really important thing. And SEO is only mostly for the search engines, right? And so the Google and web. And that's how I see this. So you have to be very careful, how to optimize both of them. Which can be a challenge because we've got a technical knowledge, and UX is kind of completely different story sometimes, especially into which area of UX you go into as well. So
absolutely. And probably if you're playing with UX components, then you need to have some understanding of product in general and how it works and how user perceive that particular part. Yeah, absolutely right there. So thank you so much, Milosz, once again. And then we have Charmis from India, who heads a very famous Indian company, ClearTrip. So, Charmis, would you please introduce yourself?
Hey, hi guys. First of all, it's a great pleasure and a great opportunity that has been shared by Semrush to be on this stage and speak with all the industry experts. It's truly a pleasure, and I truly enjoy this thing. So, a few things about me. Currently, I'm heading the international SEO for ClearTrip. Got an experience of more than 7 years, and served mainly into different niches, differing from e-commerce, real estate, and now travel. So being into the industry, I'm very much fascinated about SEO automation, speaking about different tools, usage of tools, and making the website more friendly. And I love my developers.
Yeah. So did you say this because your developers are also watching this webinar and you want to have a wonderful relation with them, so that whenever you pitch an idea, they are like always there. Yeah, Charmis is right. Let's do it.
I'm going to release tomorrow.
All right. Good luck with that. Thank you so much, Charmis.
Thank you.
All right. And then we have the wonderful Dido with us, who is always traveling. So I'm not sure whether I should say he's from London or Bulgaria. So I'll better, keep it to him. So yeah, Dido, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello. So my name is Dido Grigov, but usually colleagues and friends call me just Dido. Yes, I live usually in Bulgaria, but I travel very often to London in the United Kingdom. I'm head of SEO for Surpact here, one of the top SEO companies here in Bulgaria. And I'm a small company for SEO and content marketing in London called NetPresenter. My experience is over 13 years in SEO. And the main activities and main interests are in semantic SEO. I love text retrieval algorithms. I love knowledge graph, the new question graph, and optimizing for them as much as is possible, of course, and technical SEO, of course, which is, in my opinion, this is the foundation of, along with the good content strategy, the good SEO strategy at all.
Cool, thank you so much, Dido. So now you're working on a lot of interesting concepts, and I can actually relate some of these concepts to voice search. So what do you think about voice search and SEO?
Voice search, it was actually a very interesting fact that my partner in Surpact was at SMX last days, and one of the most interesting numbers there from the slides of the presentations from the lecturers was that more than 60% of the search queries by the next 3 years will be from voice search. So we have to definitely start thinking about optimizing for voice search. We have to change our direction into the semantic SEO, because semantic SEO is a very big fundamental part of the voice search. And of course, we have to pay very, very good attention to our content, because usually the search at the moment, actually in the USA, the voice search works. It's taking its first steps. But it really works getting information from the content. So we have to pay more and more attention to the content quality, the strategy, the overall strategy of the content, and of course the semantic SEO connected with the content.
Cool, thank you so much. That's one of my favorite SEO topics these days. So probably I'll catch you again, maybe after the show. Okay? Thank you so much, Dido. All right, guys. So once again, welcome everyone to the first episode of SEO Surgery in India. And today we are going to audit 3 websites. One is Social Beat, which is digital marketing agency, and Milosz will be auditing that. And then we have Paladin.net, which is cybersecurity company. And then we have star.com, which is hotel channel manager. So these are the 3 websites we are covering today. And we got wonderful response from you guys once again. We got more than 500 registrations, which is amazing. And I'm really, really excited about this first show. And guys, we could only pick 3 websites like every other SEO Surgery India show. So apologies if you submitted your site and that's not picked. That's because of the constant of 3. But yeah, I mean, probably the next show is yours, and it will be probably picking your websites for the next one. Yeah. And for some reason, this Google toolbox is not working, so you cannot see our tagline just below our screen. So, I mean, you can reach us on our Twitter or LinkedIn, which is available there on the event page. So you can contact us from there if you have any question which is not answered here. And now, without wasting any time, I would like to move to the real content for which you all are waiting. So let's talk about the first website, which is socialbeat.in, digital marketing agency, and Milosz will be talking about it. So yeah, Milosz, it's all yours now. Milosz, could you please unmute yourself?
Yeah. Okay. Now. Okay.
Yeah.
Just completely forgot that. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Great. Okay.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
So, okay. Let's start. So I've used the Semrush for SEO, live audit for the Social Beat, and obviously I've checked only desktop at the moment, and I can quickly see there's some sort of crawlability issues, which is, I would say, always like the primary reason to look into that, what is causing the problem. And this is definitely like number 1 to fix. I would focus on that. And I like Semrush because it tells you exactly which links are not HTTPS, So this is something that, if you guys technical, that you can do it by yourself, or you hire a developer and then you just give this list to them, and surely they should be able to sort this out very easy. This is how I work sometimes with the developers. They prefer to get all the links so they can see exactly, which part of website is not completely fully HTTPS, which is SSL, which is not fully converted. So that's one thing that I would look at it quickly. So that's the mixed content also. So people call this like as a mixed content, which means some of your pages can be connected via HTTP, or some of the pages can be connected to as a HTTPS, which means they have the green padlock SSL, but none of them. So this is when you do SSL installation, always please make sure that you check that every single website is under the full protocol. So that's very important, and it keeps happening always, all the time. Another one I would pick up, it's definitely the 50 redirect chains and loops. That is something I would definitely look into that. So you going from one page to the other, so it's just too many redirections, and I will definitely found where is the original one, because otherwise these redirections, they will be slowing down your page. And it is like, I would say, it's as HTTPS, redirect chains are the very technical SEO parts, and they have to be they have to be done as quick as possible. And I would say it's a number one reason, like for technical audits, to look into that. I wouldn't be worried about 6 pages that have a page speed the slow, but because that depends. I mean, it's like it depends on what links. So as you can see, here's like a socialbeat.in/tag, but a tag is definitely not a page that that we really care about. Obviously, maybe this one, because it's a blog post. It looks like a step-by-step guide setup, just. So it depends, but homepage is definitely something that we want to be like number one. So what I've done is I've used a GTmetrix, and a GTmetrix tells you where are the issues with your page speed. If you want to be very generic, normally when you run the test, the GTmetrix use Vancouver and Canada location. But if you want to be in London, then you log in, you change your location. And also what I would suggest, instead of doing the generic test on Chrome or on the desktop, I always advise to test every page speed on 3G connection. Not 4G connection, but 3G connection. Because not many people and not everywhere the 3G is accessible. And even in London, there are some places, there's a lot of still places that wherever you walk, the 3G is still there. And we would think, okay, big places, big cities, they have 4G, but not always. So that's something that definitely to look into that. And I would much rather focus on total page size rather than the seconds on the beginning and the number of requests. Ideally, you want to have 30 requests if you can make it, but 109 is way too much. What I like about this tool, it quickly tells you, what can you quickly improve. So let's say like a defer parsing of JavaScript. It's something that can be sometimes done very easy, especially if you're running WordPress. All you have to do is just maybe install the plugin, and they will take care of it. You just have to know which JavaScript have to be loaded on the first or as a last. And this is what slows down the page. I also like to use the tool, which is called Yellow Lab. and it tells you exactly your like a global score, which is from E to A. You won't be able to fix all the problems, the very technical problems like CSS and JavaScript, but some of them are very interesting and can be fixed, easily. So let's say if we look at the web fonts number on this page, even the designers will tell you that ideally on every website you should have 2 web fonts, or even like 3 is the maximum, but never 6. Like here's like way too many, and this is what slows down the website. And this is something this can be fixed very easy. So please look into that as well when you do the SEO live audits. Web fonts are very important because, as you can see, they play the major role of how the page speed is loaded. Another one I would look into that is a caching. I don't know how many of you are into the page speed and this and all these technical in this technical area, but generally speaking, if you use any CDN, or maybe if you use WordPress and it's plugin called W3 Total, which I guess is like the most popular one, the 1 year is something that I would set for 1 year. But some of them you can't do because these are the external ones. So any external connection sometimes cannot be cached. So I don't know how technical is that, but I've tried to to give you the really good quick tips. And I think if you make notes and speak with your developers, as long as you pass these informations to them, they should be able to help you with the website if this is too technical. But I mean, if you look into YouTube resources, there's plenty of them, so you should be able to find out how to fix by yourself. But some things I wouldn't really do on if you haven't done this before. Let's say if you see any problems with HTTP or HTTPS and you're trying to fix this by yourself, most of the time it can be a big problem. So the backup of the website is also very important. So right, and then the last one I would touch on is jQuery. There's a rule that only one jQuery should be loaded, and as you can see on this website, they have like 2 different versions of jQueries. And as it says, you should never load jQuery more than once on the same page because these are really heavy libraries. So that's something to look into that. And I understand there's a very hardcore and technical issues because it's something to do with a little bit of the front end and something to do with the back end. But SEO is between front end and the back end. So it's these tools will help us to speak with the developers, to speak with the technical people, and then this is the way to fix all the problems. So this is technical SEO as well, in my opinion. And that would be it from me, I think, because I just wanted to know if I still have time.
You are done with your time, but if you want to speak about something, then probably 1 more minute for you.
Okay, that's because I didn't switch on my timer, so I don't know if I'm sometimes right. So I've got the last. Sure, thank you. So I've got another last tool that I use, and as you can see here, what that does is quickly scans your website. And I don't know how many of you know, but security issues are very important these days. So this tool will quickly scan your website and will tell you whether or not you have, just for example, HSTS. So HSTS, it's another security layer, I would say, in a very plain language. So once you secure your website from HTTP protocol, and then you put your green padlock, which is SSL, on the top of that, if you want to secure your website, which you should do these days, you have to install as well HSTS, and it can be done via several ways. Maybe because you can do this quickly using the CDN, such as Cloudflare, but I personally suggest to manually install coding, hard coding, and HSTS. It's not difficult as it sounds like. But this tool exactly will tell you that what else you can improve. And then content security policy is another one. It's really good, but it can be time consuming. Basically, what that does is whatever you're loading. So let's say if you're loading your website and your website is also has an external JavaScript. So you telling that only certain JavaScripts can be loaded. So these are the ones that you tick off, and anything else cannot be loaded. So it's a very secure, because you know that there's no hijacking. So hijacking is something that hackers sometimes use when they want to place a JavaScript that doesn't belong to your website, but it will be on the browser to someone else, and so it can affect a user. So it's really nice, cool tool. And it's a very also, I would say, accurate. I usually X-frame and XSS protections and refer policy. Most of the time these websites, they do have these kind of things. So it's the first time I see a website that has a F grade. So yeah, this is I think this area here, it should be something to be done as well, like as soon as you can. So yeah, I will touch on this. So I understand it's a security, but as you can see, security is an issue, and is important because if you don't have any security layers, your website can be affected. And one of my clients had a website which was infected. There was a malware. And the Google will send you via Google a Search Console notification about that. And trust me, they will remember your website, and they will send you some sort of in the next 6 months or next year some sort of reminder. Have you done this or have you done that to improve your website? So like I think they store the information of your website, what happened in the past, and they understand that you have been attacked or something like that. That's how it seems like it. So that's it from my side at the moment.
Well, thank you so much, Milosz. That was interesting. I mean, you covered a lot of interesting facts in this 10 minutes, and you asked for 1 more minute, but you took 3 more minutes. Come on, man, that's not done. Anyways, thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. And so there's a question from Satish Singh, who wants to know about the tools you use for checking cache and jQuery. What was that again?
Right, so the credit goes to Peter Nikolov, because Peter Nikolov is I don't know if you guys know Peter Nikolov, but Peter Nikolov is, features also on Semrush webinars. So I've seen that he was using this tool. I fall in love since I've seen this. So I have to say, the credit goes to him, because this is how I found about this tool. So it's called yellowlab.tools. I don't know if you can see it from here. But yeah, if you can, if
you can just tweet it from your account, and then
I will tweet it on my account. Definitely.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. And then we'll also put it in the YouTube live chat for all the listeners.
So this is the one. So this is the tool that I use for the caching. But GTmetrix, which is here, is will tell you also plenty of stuff, there's so many information that you can extract from here that sometimes will take you ages to even learn if you want to be really good in page speed stuff.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Milosz. And now I would like to ask Dido if you have anything to add, which probably Milosz missed because of time constraint.
No, I think that the answer of Milosz was very efficient and very full. So I think I can continue with my website. auditing my website, which is, let me first share my screen now.
Yeah.
I hope you see it.
Yeah.
So my website is star.com, which is this is a software for, it's actually a booking engine for hotels mainly. And I've put a note here on Semrush, and I would like to prioritize some problems they have. First of all, I will start with the top errors here. And the broken internal images, usually people don't pay so much attention here, but they're very important because they give signals to Google that your user experience is not good. So usually when you place an image, you have to definitely check several times if the server works well, if the file size of the image is not so high, so large, and so on. Duplicate meta descriptions, a very common problem with the websites today. Could be a dynamic problem, could be anything else, but in all situations, keep your meta descriptions to be really. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Yes. So keep your meta descriptions usually unique. So and write them on your own. So you don't have any problems after that with these meta descriptions. Actually, they are not a ranking factor anymore, but they are part of your CTR on the organic or the pages with organic results. We have some duplicate title tags, very important part again, because if you start generating too much, you have a too much portion of duplicated title tags, you start confusing the search engine which page to rank for you, because it is actually one of the top things a search engine will look for when it starts to crawl and make the evaluation of your pages. The loading speed is actually something that is a very big problem for this website, because besides the practice that the optimization is good, we still have very high loading time, which is almost 4 seconds for the DOM objects. This website actually, and the programmers should try to work on the JavaScript objects here. And as we can see, you go through the pages, we can see that there are many of them. Yes, they make the user experience better, but they're still problematic, and we need to optimize the code here and the resources connected with all these objects on the page. The next thing is the 4xx errors, which is another problematic thing. Despite the fact that John Mueller from Google said that Google doesn't penalize and doesn't make any problems for these pages, we can still see some decrease in the rankings because of them. And fortunately, one of the best things here is that they're analyzed page by page. So if you have a very important page, as all of us have for any website, just always check for these pages, because they could be generated dynamically sometimes, or you just have deleted something and forgot about the change in the URL or something like, or anything in this direction. We have internal links broken in the last part of August last year. Google put another emphasis on this part of the website, the internal links. At the moment, there are not so many, but keep in touch. Keep in mind that you need to keep them really live and not broken. So they're a very, very important part of the user experience. This is how the bot of Google, the crawler, goes from page to page. So if you have some broken links, both internal or external, you will definitely have a lower score of your user experience. Let me go to the warnings in a moment, and it's another common problem here with the uncached JavaScript and CSS files. And like Milosz said, the caching is very important. The minification of JavaScript and CSS is also very important, but please don't broke your website when you do it, because I see many people start minifying JavaScript or CSS files, but at the end of the day, their homepage is broken, or any specific important page is broken, and so on. I saw on a question here about the certificates, and I see a problem here. It's connected with the SSL certification. So yes, they are important, and even Google said that last year that they start to use the SSL certifications as ranking signals. Along with that, Google Chrome will stop opening normally websites from May this year, which don't have SSL certifications. But they have they bring with them very, very big problems sometimes, coming from the proper redirections from the HTTP to HTTPS. Sometimes people forgot to make the proper redirection from www to non-www or vice versa, and people usually mix the HTTPS with the HTTP content, which is again a problem, because it's not a problem from user experience perspective, but you will exhaust your Chrome budget that way, because you have the same content coming from two different versions of your URLs. Sometimes the same HTTP version of URL is put anywhere on the footer, so it's going to the website site-wide, which is again a problem because it's confusing for the search engine which URL to rank. It's again a negative signal for your user experience, because you have at the same time you have a security version of your website, and at the same you have some non-secure URLs, and this is kind of confusing for the search and both for the users, because we know that there are some users who insist on security connections with specific particular websites, and that's absolutely normal. And the last thing I would like to, two things actually, I would like to pay more attention here is the low text to HTML ratio, and usually this is connected with the low word count of the pages. Yes, Google pays special attention to these two kinds of signals, despite the fact that they are not ranking signals. They are important for your user, and they are important for evaluation of the quality of your pages. Because if we have more HTML lines over the content lines, this is usually how the spam websites are acting on the web, and the main focus here on Google is to provide more content, to provide answers. So we have to put on the top the content, and we have to make it for sure more lines. We need to have more lines for content and less lines for HTML. It usually depends on the layout of the page, but it's important to have more content over the HTML lines. And the next thing is that I see usually I have been experiencing problems with these too much text in the title tags. Yes, Google will accept them and won't make any problems with this title text, but keep in mind that it's important for your users. You need to catch the user on organic pages, and you have to drive them to click on your results. So you need to make descriptive and rich title tags, persuasive title tags, so they will drive the users to your page and keep them there. And of course, one of the top problems of the website from the source code is that the href rank is not properly set up here. We have 4 languages. We see only 3 here. Actually, they were. Let me check. They were even. Yes, there are 4 languages. According to the documentation from Google, we need to have all languages defined on all pages, and as we have the language switcher, we have the X default, so it's properly set up here, but we don't have the 4. We don't have the two other languages defined. And of course, the loading speed here for the mobile devices coming from the Google tool. We need to check our websites in Google Tools, because this is what Google uses actually to evaluate our pages and our website. So I see 19 seconds here, which is a very, very high result. And I'm pretty sure that part of this high loading time is because of the badly programmed document object model, or the JavaScript and the elements here, because when they're not very good program and the code is not organized well, and the functions doesn't work very well, usually it takes a lot of time for the bot to render the page, to crawl the code, and to load all these resources. So it's very, very, very important for this website to summarize things, is to pay more attention to the loading speed, to improve the content on the pages, usually to extend it and to make it a little bit more authoritative, to fix the broken links, both internal and external, and fix the href rank problem, and of course to check the configuration of the SSL, because as I said, there are a lot of problems coming from the switching from HTTP to HTTPS, and usually people don't think about these problems, but they will for sure reflect your rankings. It won't be now, but after a period of time, you will see some decrease in the rankings, and you remember, I forgot to make the redirects properly, or I forgot to remove this mixed content, and my pro budget is exhausted, and Google doesn't see my important pages or my important page, so I have to do something to fix the problem.
All right, that was cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dido. That was really interesting, and you, shared a lot of interesting points, and there were a lot of basic SEO elements which are missing for this website. So I'm sure they would be super happy to see this audit, and will be able to optimize their website for crawlers, and will gain some great organic growth. Yeah, thank you so much, Dido, once again. And now I have a question for Milosz and Charmis, both of you. Do you guys have anything to add for this website, which Dido missed probably? Charmis or Milosz? Yes, no?
I've got something to add for Social Beat, for sure.
Okay, so, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I did is, can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yep. So I simply went into Semrush and I navigated around the website using the main keyword of theirs. It's like marketing, and I sorted down the volume. I sorted down all the keywords based on volume. And what I figured out is, if you observe very carefully, they are into multiple things. They're into courses, they're into agencies, and they are marketing themselves as a digital marketing company. But when it comes to rankings, I feel they're way too far in terms of what exactly they wanted to capture in terms of the real estate of the whole thing. Like, say, example, if you say digital marketing, they're ranking at 97, which is on the 10th page of Google. So I feel they should run this report via using Semrush, just add the keyword and sort it via volume, and I feel they'll be more than happy to see this, that which keywords are the main keywords they should try and focus on.
Thank you so much for adding that, Charmis. That's an interesting point, and I'm sure they would be looking at it for sure now.
I've got to kind of add some, something to do. So I'm going to share my screen, and I will use the same the tool that I've used for before website. So as you can see, it's scanned very quickly. This is for the security purposes. But again, as I've mentioned before, security reasons are very important, especially for the Google Search Console, because they, if you had a malware on your website or if your website was hacked, the Google will store the information and they will remember about that. So as I mentioned before, one of my clients had that, and it appears to be the true. So if you can install if they could install all of these headers, which is very easy to do that, that will definitely improve the security content of the website as well. So that's my take on this.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Milosz. And now we are moving to the final website of the day, which is paladin.net. And Charmis will be talking about it. So yeah, Charmis, the stage is all yours now.
Yep. First of all, thank you, Nitin. I'd like to share my screen again.
Perfect.
Is it visible?
Yeah, visible, but could you please move to this
perfect.
slide? Yeah, perfect. Now perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So I managed to make a small PPT for these guys. So I can send this PPT to all of the Paladin group. You just have to tweet me for that and you are done. So basic things, what I've covered in these things are, I would first of all like to demonstrate, I would like to talk a few things about the website. Like Paladin is a cybersecurity solution providing company that provides AI-driven MDR, that is managed detection and responsive services, and their areas of expertise are into 7 different segments. They are into threat anticipation, hunting, monitoring, analysis, response, and breach management. So the best thing about this company is they are coming up with a tool that can help you analyze your website, or that can help you raise tickets if you're facing any issues, any security breaches, and they will solve it in a real-time basis. So this is an interesting concept in terms of the recent hacks and everything's happening on the website, and typically a good way to be safer on the first end, rather to go on the other end and then solve it. Yeah. So Paladin is a cybersecurity solution providing company. So what are the points that are covered in this typical audit is I've covered the organic positioning and the index breakup of that. I've covered a few on-page insights and issues. I've covered the internal linking structure and its analysis. Most important part, the link profile, and the last 2 things is how do this company, since it's a B2B model, it's not a B2C company, can build a lot of links via content marketing, and 5 top tips for the SEO people that are viewing this event. Yeah. So starting from the first, I have mentioned all the tools that I've used to analyze the website, and you can see in the bottom what are the tools. So sorry. Typically, this website is registered on the year of 2000. It's an 18-year-old domain. They migrated from HTTP to HTTPS on the April 17th last year. So last year they had some issues with the migration of these things, typically related to the SSL certificates and other things. So yeah, this is the first thing you can solve. Speaking about organic traffics and the contribution of keywords. So this website is typically targeted in 2 regions. One is India and second is US. So the approximated traffic that this website is getting is around 5K, and the keywords that are bringing around this sort of traffic is around 4,500 keywords. This is quite a bunch of keywords because not all the keywords are ranking on the first page. So that is the reason why the keywords are influenced and the traffic is low. Second part is the total indexed website in Google for this website is about 973 pages. So out of the total index, Google has managed to index around 870 pages. If I speak about the total inbound and outbound links present in the website, is that it has around 1600 odd pages. The website is also facilitated with a blog, and the blog pages are around 400. So one good observation here would be, in a span of 18 years, the company has only distributed 400 blogs. I think the company should start distributing a lot of content, since the topic, since the niche they are in, it's quite interesting to all the companies, and yeah, they can do a lot better job uh, in terms of distributing the content. So moving on to the second slide, it's the organic positioning and competition breakup. So as I said in the previous slide, the website is getting around 5K traffic on a monthly basis. The biggest competitor of this website is optive.com. And I mentioned the keywords. The keywords are around 9,000, traffic is around 12,000. This data is managed by this. I pulled this data from Semrush. On the first graph, you can see the organic ranking distribution of Pelarin.com. And as you can see, there are less than 250 keywords that are ranking in the first three position. And typically, as everybody knows, the higher the CTR, the higher the position, the higher CTR is. So the first strategy that they can use here is they can actually focus on building. They can actually focus on managing backlinks and improving on the pages that are ranking on 4 to 10. So this will be the second observation for this website, and they should scan the optive.com strategy, whatever things they are doing, and probably try to do it on a better note. Yeah. So moving on to the third side, these are some of the insights that I've got using this website. So in this slide, I've used three typical tools to analyze the small issues. So first three URLs are about short title tags. So I use Screaming Frog to navigate and index the whole website. And based on the report that Screaming Frog has shared, I found that all of these URLs are having short title tags. Mainly, they are about 30 to 35 characters. So this is the second point. On the contrary, if you speak about the structure of the website, so I just go to the structure of the website. Yeah. So yeah. So I typically feel that the website structure needs to be optimized in a much better manner. If they can have a folder structure related to all the services that are providing, it should be easy catch for these guys to structure it. It'll be better if you can if you can always have the silo navigation structure for bots. It will be very easy to manage. Coming on back to the slides, I wanted to display. As you can see, this is one of the primary services. It's called the threat anticipation service. And if you can see the title tag, it's just one word of the service, and then the name of the company. And this link, you can find it from the footer. So these are the AI-driven MDRs that they serve, and all of these are main services, but they are not optimized up to the way that one should optimize for. Yeah. So that is it. Moving on to the image load and sitemaps. So in the sitemap, there are no priority defined. I feel they should immediately go and define some priorities for page load services, priorities to for the bot to define which pages he wants to prioritize, and what is the last modification date of all of these links. Coming on to the page load time. What I've done here is I've managed to test the page load time based on the traffic stats that I got from Semrush. So I feel the traffic should be tested. The most ideal way you have to test your page load time is go to GA, CEO, geolocations, and identify the city. So city that you're getting the most of the traffic, that should be analyzed via GT matrix. So the beauty of GT matrix is you can go ping in via any of the cities that you wanted, ping via all the speeds, and you can actually see the results of that page. So what I've done here is I've managed to add two test cases here. So the first test case is about fast broadband, and second one is about 3G mobile phones. So I'll just go and open this. Yep. So if you can clearly see, the page load time in 3G mobile when I'm hitting from Mumbai is 20.9 seconds. The 20.9 seconds is a tremendous high speed to load any page of the website. So I typically feel that they should work on a lot of these things. Like these things are very detailed. Any developer can understand clearly if you sit with them. So this is the third point that I feel the company should improvise on. Moving on to the next slide. This is the internal linking structure and the analysis part of the website. So what I've done is I've run this entire website by Screaming Frog, and I use some Excel to manage on these are the different typical status codes. 200 is typically the page that is okay. 301 is redirections. 302, 404, 403, and all of these. So my observation around this thing is out of the index of 1500 URLs, 20% of the URLs are filled with errors. So I feel that you should work on all of these errors, solve this on an immediate basis that can help you influence the crawl. So the tools that I've used in this report is I've used Screaming Frog and I've used Excel pivot tables to manage on this small graph. Moving to the next slide. So next slide, again, I managed to use Screaming Frog, and this is typically my favorite analysis when it comes to page linking and the structure. So if you can see it properly, I analyze the entire structure of the website via their page depth, and 60% of the pages are below the page depth of 4. So making it typically, it's not 100% mandate. Nobody tweeted, nobody said about this thing that the ideal page depth is this much, but it is always suggested that the page depth should be below 3 or 4. So 60% of the pages of this website are below are above 4 to 5 page levels of depth. So I feel they should work on internal linking structure. They should use linking in their blogs, articles, wherever they are ranking on. And yeah, internal linking is something that is very fairly important in terms of this thing. Moving on to the next slide, this is the link profile. So the tool that I've used here again is Semrush to manage on the links. So what I've done typically is I've managed to take on the screenshots of all of these tools because I prefer it fairly easier that I didn't want to break the flow of the PPT. So that's why I managed to get everything under one PPT. If you can see, the total number of backlinks here is 10,000. The referring domains are around 300. So I feel the ratio should be more. So the ratio should be improved. So I dig a lot deeper into this context, and what I found is these guys are giving up the badges to different websites where if it's cybersecurity protected, they'll shoot out their badge, and all the other domains would have. So in this context, it's not a red alert or a red flag wherein they should be immediately worried about. It's just the badge that they're providing, and it's typically okay for me. But I feel they should focus a lot more in building good quality links to the website. My next slide would cover all the optimum ways to market your content and build links.
Charmis, sorry to interrupt you, but can you please quickly wrap it up, like in a minute?
Just 2 slides.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah. So what I've done here is I wanted to demonstrate two of the different elements of Semrush that can help you. It can help any of the companies build a lot of links. So the first thing is the topic and questions research, and second is the SEO template thing. I'll just share my screen. Yep. So the main keyword for this website is cybersecurity. So if you're running out of topics, if you wanted to write a lot of content about anything, you could go to Semrush, use this topic research tool. It's an awesome tool. You can navigate in around the country you wanted. So typically, if you see cybersecurity, network security, computer security. So if I speak about any of the properties, let's say information and technology, it gives me all the questions, it gives me all the topics that I can cover and blog about on my website. This is fairly more important when you're running out of ideas, especially in B2B sites. I've observed that they can procure a lot of content, but they're too scared about what articles should they write about and stuff. Another thing is another and the most important thing that I wanted to cover is these guys posted a lot of articles. So these guys are the owner of the companies are also providing a lot of articles on Economic Times, and they're managing to get on a PDF version of the website as well. So I feel internal linking, getting links and brand mentions from all of these content should be a helpful note. Again, the updation of the blogs, some of the blogs I saw, it's updated in 2006. I feel they should be again rebranded and added some content, and they should be being brought back to life. And yeah, last slide tip for a few of the SEOs. Use annotations in GA wherever you find, wherever you are releasing anything, or you should mark the annotations when there are any Google updates. Use tools like Semrush, Algoru, and Mosscast to understand the ranking trends. Third is use Screaming Frog to crawl a competitor website and implement the best internal linking strategy. Fourth and my favorite is the tool called Analytics Edge. I use this tool to extract all the landing pages report from Google Webmaster Tools, and I update it in Screaming Frog to check the errors. And yeah, GT Matrix, switch it on to daily performance measures so you don't run out of issues on the page load time and other things. That would be all from my side.
Cool. Thank you so much. That was amazing. And I really loved the presentation. I mean, it was precise to the point, and you mentioned everything, what tool you used. It was amazing. Thank you so much, Charmis. All right, guys. So now, without wasting any time, because we are left with only 4 minutes, so I'll quickly pick some questions and we'll challenge our experts here. So the first question, in fact, I'll now club 2 questions. One is from Soumya KR. The question is why the schema is not visible while searching. Another one is from Tara Sundaram. The question is, any tips on using structured data correctly for SEO? So probably, I think these 2 questions are very much related. And what do you think about it, guys? Dido, Milosz, who wants to take that?
There's a question for me. I see now, number 10. About the duplicate title and meta description, which is correct, but what about when Google changed title tag or searching our keyword on Google? That's absolutely normal, because usually Google will write the titles and descriptions according to the search query. It's part of their semantic algorithms, just because they would like to provide people with the most relevant pages, and of course they should look like relevant to the user, and that's why part of the algorithm of Google is one of its algorithms is that to change the title and the description so it will look relevant to the user. But this doesn't mean that your title or description is changed. It's not changed. It's how you wrote it on your code or your content management system. Just Google will change it for a specific phrase, not for all phrases, for a specific phrase.
Cool. Thank you so much, Dido. And now I would like to request Milosz to put some light on schema and structured data, and how one can, implement it correctly and make sure that Google picks it. Structured data.
Structured data. Yeah, I mean, definitely you can test the structured data with there is a tool that Google provides, structured data. So from my experience, there are some, I've seen websites that ranking with structured data, without the structured data. Some websites, they see massive impact. Some of them, they don't see impact at all. And for some people, it seems to be like there's a lot of work around. So that depends, like what's your priority. But I will definitely, if you don't have time constraints, I would definitely use structured data, because for the click-through rate, it really helps. That's for sure. So I think it depends on the time constraints. I'm under the impression that if you want to have the structured data which is really well optimized, it just takes a time. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you're mentioning like some specific field that this is address, this is contact number, this is rating, and so on, that makes it easy for search engines to understand content on that particular page. So yeah, I would highly recommend structured data. Yeah, Dido, you were saying something. I'm sorry about that.
I just wanted to add that. Yeah, I just wanted to add also that even in the meta description, I've done the test on some 2 local websites, and every time I've added a telephone number to meta description, suddenly works. There's more phone calls. so for the local business, like let's say, I don't know, any local, let's say we had a construction building company in Oxford, and that one number on every meta description. So let's say there was a landing page about Oxford, there was one about a different location, let's say close to the Oxford, just all these little cities, and each of them had a telephone number. Suddenly more leads.
Yes, the titles and descriptions are the best way for people to drive them to do something from the organic pages. And I wanted to add something about the schema. It's a general tip for all people watching us now at the moment. Use the schema.org website, and if you don't understand, hire a developer. Do your best to use schema for all elements you have on your website, because this is how we will understand the elements on your website, and this is and you increase your chance to be included in the knowledge graph. This is very, very, very important for the knowledge graph, and for Google to understand and to improve your relevancy, even improve your relevancy of your website.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, we are running out of time, guys. I'm so sorry about that. And we have so many amazing questions in our list, but we won't be able to answer them because of time constraint. So, guys,
Nitin.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing to add on in the schema front, like many of you people face this challenge to add the schemas, and they have to rush to the developers and get this thing done. I feel one easy win for this is you add it via GTM and GTM tags. So it could be easy for anyone who can go and add it.
Absolutely. GTM is amazing. And you also spoke about this topic research tool. That is amazing as well. I mean, I just checked it last week. The one Semrush recently released. It's amazing. I will 100% recommend everyone to just spend 10 minutes on it, and you'll fall in love, I'm sure. All right, guys.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for asking such amazing questions. Unfortunately, we won't be able to answer those questions right now because of time constraint. But trust me, we are nice enough to handle these questions offline. As in, maybe you can ask us after the show as well. So now I would request each of you experts to talk about your key takeaway and your preferred communication channel where people can reach you with their questions which are not answered here. But you have only 35 seconds for it, say. Yeah. So Milosz, you can start maybe.
So yeah, guys, if you want to reach me, let's say, because I can see there's some questions related with the content security policy, or more very technical side that I've really touched today. So you can reach me on Milosz, which is my name, at chilifruit.com. So I think it's fairly easy to remember, Milosz at chilifruit.com. And I'm very happy to to help you, to explain you this, and maybe even how to implement this. If I don't have time constraints, I'm very happy to help you guys with that.
Thank you so much, Milosz. Dido, you're next.
Feel free to find me on Twitter. It's at Dido Grigov in the end with V. Or you can send me email at office@netpresenter.com. You can ask me whatever you want, and unless I have any time constraints, like Milosz said, I will happy to explain and provide you with detailed explanation and answers. or even provide you with some know-how how to do something.
Thank you so much, Dido. Charmis.
Yep. So guys, I am just Google my name, find any of the handles. I'll be available. I'm ready to answer any of your queries that you have. I'm reachable at Charmis Pala on Twitter, same name on LinkedIn. I would like to share the PPT that covers the step-by-step process to audit a website. Just hit me on LinkedIn or Twitter. I'd be happy to share it. And yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us then and sharing a lot of interesting insights about these 3 websites and answering a few questions. I wish we could take more than a few, but it was really amazing. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining and asking such beautiful questions and amazing response like every time. So see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.